All right, so I'm here with my neighbor. A lot of you guys probably know him from tractor pulling, Kevin Lindstrom. Now, Kevin, you're not actually a full-time professional tractor puller. You do make
Yes.
money primarily doing what?
All we farm is we try to farm, I guess. So
Okay, now, would you describe your farm as like primarily a John Deere
sure, yeah, you
farm?
betcha.
So a lot of you guys know Kevin's Limited Pro and Super Farm 1466, the Hyper Harvester, but we're going to talk today about the tractor that those side panels go with. All right, so this is your 1066.
This is my 1066. This one here is probably not going to leave the farm, as long as I'm alive, I guess.
So now, at first glance, you'd say it's just a normal 1066, but there's something special about this, isn't there?
This one here we found, of course, I've been tractor pulling for a long time, and the 806 we pulled with for a couple of years, and we had trouble with the fuel injection pump and stuff, and I said, we're going to keep doing this, we're going to try something different, and I've run onto this one, and this one has a factory narrow front bolster underneath it, so I could get it down 9,000 pounds, and it did well for me.
And you didn't have to run pressed steel to run.
No, I had to run press steel. No
Okay.
fenders, no 3-point. I could have a PTO or hydraulics on it, and that was it.
So those that don't know what's special about this front, yes, it's a wide front end, but it doesn't steer with hydraulic cylinders like a normal 66 series.
Yeah, it's called a wet bolster is what they call
Yep.
it. Yep.
So this, when you bought it, it didn't even have a wide front end, did it?
It had a wide front. Yeah,
Oh, it
this
did?
is the wide front it had on it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was and this is actually off a 1456. Used the same. It's a little heavier than a 1066 or 1256 wide front end. But this is what they used on it when they came with the wet bolster.
Okay.
So I put the narrow front on it when I started pulling it. But
Okay. So how long have you had this tractor?
I bought it in 1980. We bought this tractor. My uncle gave me a Farmall M that was on the corn picker, and it's a trade-off. I traded that for this, and we chopped some hay with it, and next thing we know, we were in Hammond, 4th of July pulling it. So it made it quite a splash first time out. It was the first time out we got a first with it. It was high third, which was kind of unheard for back in the day, and I was right up against the fence at the end of the track at Hammond, and it was a sled called Miller & Johnson. It was an old International truck. I don't know if Ryan remembers it or not, but it was an International cab-over truck, and it was first self-propelled sled around here. But he came up to me, and I thought he was going to chew me out, and he says, "Young man," he says, "I'm sure glad you had control of this. That was fun," he says. But the crowd went wild, and we had a lot of fun with this tractor. So.
Well, I can remember this tractor pulling a lot as a kid. And did you cultivate with this tractor too?
We used to cultivate with it, plant with it. Yeah, I mean
Because I remember the narrow front out with a cultivator.
Yeah,
I think.
I used to cultivate the corn. Before we went to 20-inch rolls, we cultivated corn with it. So yeah.
So in '80, how old were you when you?
I'd have been 17.
So this wasn't. So when you bought this tractor, your intent was pulling.
Oh, I bought this tractor pull.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
We really didn't need it to farm with. I bought a tractor pull. That was.
Because at the time, your big horse on the farm was that Ralph's 14.
We had a couple 1486s at that time also. So.
Okay. Yeah. So the farm operation back in 1980. So now today, like when you farm, you and your sons farm together, mostly just corn, soybeans, and some steers, right?
Corn, soybeans, some steers, yes. Yep.
So back in '80, though, you guys, the farm was quite a bit different, wasn't it?
We had 2 dairies. My dad had a dairy. My uncle had a dairy. We used to haul between tractor pulls. We'd put the air filter back in it, and we'd pull wagons down up and down the road with it. But until I caught the hired man racing a Ford Pinto down the road, and that put the kibosh to that. So,
yeah.
It was this hauled a lot of wagons in this day, and it actually worked well for tractor pulling because it kept the tires nice and sharp, and it worked well.
So in 1980, though, to find this tractor, so where did it come from?
We bought this at Wanamingo at Herman. I'm pretty sure it's called Herman.
Yep.
Yeah, and
because Don had a 336 baler. That's okay.
My dad and Bill Herman knew each other from childhood and stuff, so it was kind of a unique deal when we bought the tractor. But it came out of I think it was either Canning Company or Seed Company had a sweet corn picker on it, is why they had the narrow front. It had 16 938 tires on it. The only thing that's really not correct on it is the floorboard was trimmed down to put a picker on it.
But it was a factory open station.
Oh, factory open station, but somebody cut that off for the picker. So and that's, someday I'd like to find the correct floorboard put on there, and otherwise it's all pretty much correct. I mean,
So I think 234, you could probably have picked sweet corn or seed corn with a 234.
It's very possible. I don't know what they had for a picker on it. I just know it came. It was either Canning Company or Seed Company. I don't quote me on which one it was. So it was that's where it originally came from. So.
Well, and the reason I ask how you found it is, I mean, we take it for granted. If you wanted a 1066 today, you'd go to Fastline, Tractor House, Tractor Zoom.
It was drive around and look.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't jump on the phone and go look at Marketplace or we just happened upon it one day. I was like, well, that's interesting. And then when I seen that wet bolster, I said, that is what we want right there.
Because your prior to this, your pull-in tractor was the 806.
806. Right? We started with my dad's 766. We pulled at the county. It wasn't at the county fair, but it was at the county fairgrounds at the Conklin pole in '77. And I was the last place tractor, and Brett Berg was there with a 76, and he was the first place tractor. So it was quite a difference between a stock one and one that wasn't quite so stock. So.
And that was Brett Berg, the Brett Berg.
The Brett Berg from Farmington. Yeah, that's before he got into the super stock and before the mods and stuff like that. He started all farm stock pulling. He came in with his dad, there with a construction company dump truck with a trailer on the back with his 76 on there. And he pretty much whooped up on all of us. And Joe Manger was there with his turf duster, and that 76 was, it had a visit or two from Hypermax, and it ran good. So.
And I believe that 766 is on this side of the river too. I think Joel Hartung has it.
I don't know where that went. Yeah, I don't. I just know that was a good running tractor.
Oh yeah.
In the day. Yeah.
And the 806. Did you guys put a 4-roller pump on that too?
We put a 4-roller pump on it, but I kept twisting the shaft off on it. And after about the third shaft, I decided we're going to do something different. And that's my uncle's. We still have that tractor. That's another one that's never going to leave the farm as long as I'm alive. So that tractor was bought new, and we put an M&W turbo on. They gave me for confirmation present because they knew I was into pulling and stuff, and we tried it, and I had some success with it, but I said we just could not keep a pump on there from twisting the shaft off. So
well, once Hypermax got involved in these tractors, they became, they were forced to reckon with.
Yeah, they did so much work with the 400 series motor that was Hypermax was Jerry Lagarde was an engineer, and he designed this 414 this block. So he knew this block inside and out, and it was pretty tough to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Compete, if you didn't have one, it's pretty tough to compete with it. So.
Yep. Yeah. So how many hours are on her? No.
Around 8,000. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's give or take. I guess I have to look, but it's around 8,000. So it was like, low, right, 3,400 we bought it. I think it was 3,400 or 3,500 we bought it. So.
One thing kind of interesting is it's a factory open station with the wet bolster. So you'd think it was almost a cheaper tractor, but it's got a hydraulic seat, did you add that?
No, that was where it came, a hydraulic seat on it, but it didn't have the tilt wheel, which was kind of odd. A lot of times they come with a hydraulic seat, they came with a tilt wheel, and this one did not come that way. So, but it did, the hydraulic seat's been on there. This is basically the way I bought the tractor, other than we put 38-inch rubber on it. That's the way we bought it, so, yeah. 2 remotes? 2 remotes, yeah.
Okay.
Right now it does, it's a hay rake and auger tractor. I hate to say it, but that's what it is. That's kind of what we use it for. And
yeah.
The tillage stuff has kind of gone away for it, but it's handy for. Like I said, we'll never get rid of it. So it's just too handy. So.
What year is it?
75.
Is it because it's a one-piece drawbar, right?
One-piece drawbar, and they had the heavy, thick drawbar, which I lost. That is one piece I don't have anymore. The neighbor needed it for a corn planter, and then when he traded his tractor off, we didn't get it back for it. So. It does not have the original heavy, thick drawbar on it. So.
Okay.
I wish I'd have grabbed that. If I known he was going to get rid of the tractor, I would have said, "Hey, I want that drawbar back," but I didn't. I just didn't realize it. So.
Yep.
It's one of them deals you help a neighbor out at a time, and they're like, "Oh shoot, I just should have put a stipulation on that." So.
And those fenders, you added the the fourth light.
Yeah, these lights here, we've had issues with the